Göbeklitepe means mound with belly. It shows a little bit, or it's recognizable. We have the natural limestone plateau here, and all this mound, which is not a natural mound, which is an artificial mound. This is the belly on the mound, explaining the name. We go down. Arms coming down with the hand, and this is the belt.
Belt, yeah.
And this is a fox skin hanging down from the belt. But we can be sure there had been walls, there had been pillars, there had been central pillars, everything, but they recycled it and brought it to some other place in the mountain. We can understand from this existing enclosures that they reused a lot of existing pieces. So not everything was produced newly, but a very strong reuse of stones, of spoliage. Here we are in the so-called enclosure D of Göbeklitepe, A, B, C, D, numbered in order of the discovery. And D is a best preserved one with a diameter of about 20 meters from east to west, and with pillars in situ since around 12,000 years. And with very high pillars, the central ones here have a height of 5,50 meters, and the floor is made of the bedrock, but carefully smoothed bedrock. So it's an unbelievable good preservation of this enclosure, which had been erected by Stone Age people so long ago, and which is still existent now here. It's a surprising fact here in Göbeklitepe that we have monumental architecture so early in the history of mankind. So we didn't expect it to have it so early. So we are nearly 7,000 years before the pyramids, which are the first monumental building everyone knows in our history. But here we are in a time people still had been hunter-gatherer living here in Upper Mesopotamia, but had been able to organize themselves in such a way that they had been able to produce this monumental architecture. This is a big surprise, and it doesn't change history, but it adds a chapter to history which we didn't know it exists before. So we are here on top of a limestone ridge, and it's not a place for settlements. We didn't expect it, and also our excavation results are testing it. Here it's a place for sanctuaries and not for settlements. The settlements we know, the settlements of this time of the 10th millennium, we know sites like Nevalichuri or Chayani excavated here in southeastern Turkey, or Mureybit or Çarfılarmar excavated in Syrian Euphrates region. So these are the settlements of these hunter-gatherers, and they are coming from these sites to Göbeklitepe, but not for daily life purposes, but for ritual purposes. Here they had their sanctuaries, and that's our hypothesis. We are working on it. These sanctuaries had been mainly made for burial rites. So we expect that burials will be behind these walls, below these stone benches. So we didn't touch these situations until now, but we will do it in future when we have now this shelter, which what we can see is a temporary working platform, but when the final shelter will be erected, then we will start to excavate such quite sensible and very sensible situations which need very detailed excavations. Garden of Eden is a location which is said in Old Testament, but it's located, of course, in the big region here. If we try to locate it, but here Göbeklitepe, or the region of Şanlıurfa, is not the region of the Tigris and not of other rivers mentioned in this tradition. So clearly we are far away from any Garden of Eden. But hunter-gatherers here lived in Upper Mesopotamia, like in the Garden of Eden. To add maybe an important point, it's not the Garden of Eden, it's a garden in Eden. In Eden means a landscape like a desert or a savanna-like landscape, and there was a garden in this landscape. This is a tradition. So here we are in a landscape of Upper Mesopotamia, which was very fertile and was very good for plants, for animals, and also for human civilizations. So, but we shouldn't compare Göbeklitepe with such things. The hunter-gatherers living here in Upper Mesopotamia had been living in a very, very favorable surrounding, and they had been an elite of hunter-gatherers. They had been able to do all these things, to organize themselves, to produce this kind of architecture, and they had been the people inventing the domestication of plants and animals. And this is the base for the Neolithic way of life, which means food-producing way of life. This was invented here, first time in humanity. And of course, the change from hunter to farmer, it caused a very big change in civilization. And finally, it led to the destruction of the natural habitat here, not only here, but finally all over the old world. So in this way, we can see, or we can compare it with such events. But this was a process for millennia. At the beginning, the hunter-gatherers here changed to farmers. They had been in a very good position now, and the first urban societies had been developing here in Mesopotamia and so on. Yeah, we are, of course, very grateful to the Turkish authorities to be able to work here in such an enormous, important site, to get the permit year by year. Now we are in the 20th year. And our main idea is to try to preserve everything here on the site, not to remove pieces, not to bring it to some other place, but to have everything here, to have an open-air museum here. This is part of this program. It's a temporary construction, as I told. It will be removed, and there will be a more professional steel shelter built next year. And this will be part of an archaeological park, which hopefully will grow here and which will be an attraction, very, very good attraction for the visitors coming here to Göbeklitepe.